The world's population is currently at 7.7 billion people, and 250 babies are born every minute. But how exactly are all of these babies being made? Not like that. Maybe a little bit more scientific. More specifically, how did this part happen? The journey of sperm to egg is full of peril, and the chances are extremely unlikely. In fact, out of the 300 million sperm that are released into the uterus, only 1,000 even reach the fallopian tubes, and of course, only one can win. Sperm cells are produced in a man's testes, inside twisting coils known as the seminiferous tubules. This process is known as spermatogenesis and it involves both meiosis and mitosis. First, a spermatogonium divides into a primary spermatocyte, then a secondary spermatocyte, then a spermatid, and finally a sperm cell. All of these cells are supported by the Sertoli cells. Spermatogenesis is regulated by the following negative feedback loop. When there's a low sperm count, the hypothalamus detects this and releases gonadotropin-releasing hormone. This hormone then travels to the anterior pituitary gland, which then releases follicle-stimulating hormone. This hormone travels to the seminiferous tubules found within the testes and increases sperm production. These sperm cells eventually develop and mature in the epididymis, which is located just above the seminiferous tubules. Sympathetic nerves stimulate ejaculation, and when the sperm cells are ready, they go from the epididymis to the vas deferens, all the way to the seminal vesicle and the prostate gland, and then the Cowper's gland, and then out of the penis. But sperm cells don't just travel by themselves. Instead, they travel inside a fluid called the semen that contains secretions from 3 glands. These secretions protect the sperm on their journey. The seminal vesicles contribute fructose, which give the sperm cells a source of energy, as well as prostaglandins. Prostaglandins reverse the muscular contractions in a woman's body so that they are prepared closer to the egg instead of further away from it. Prostaglandins also tell a sperm's tail to move. The prostate gland contributes alkaline buffers, which neutralize the acidity of the vagina. Finally, the Cowper's gland cleans the urethra so that sperm and urine don't mix. The average male releases approximately 525 billion sperm cells over the course of his lifetime. Now let's take a look at what happens on the other side of the equation. Egg cells are produced in a woman's ovaries, and all 400,000 eggs are created before she is born, remaining suspended in prophase 1 until puberty. Egg cells are created much like sperm cells, undergoing both mitosis and meiosis. First, the primary oocyte divides into the secondary oocyte, as well as a polar body. Then the secondary oocyte divides into a mature ovum. This process happens inside of a group of cells known as the follicle. The follicle provides nourishment and extracts waste from the developing egg. Once the egg cell is fully developed, ovulation is known as the process of the egg cell bursting out of the follicle and leaving the ovary. A spike in LH levels are the catalyst for ovulation. The two reproductive processes are very similar, except that for every 1 spermatogonium, 4 spermatids are produced, but for every 1 oogonium, only 1 egg is produced. After ovulation, the egg is swept up by the fimbria into the fallopian tube. Sperm cells have only 5 days to get from the vagina, past the uterus, and into the correct fallopian tube in order to fertilize the egg. Otherwise, they and the egg cell will die. If a sperm cell manages to reach the egg, the enzymes in the sperm cell acrosome will dissolve the outer coating of the egg cell, and then the sperm cell is absorbed into the egg cell. The ovum then completes nuclear divisions, and, finally, a zygote is formed.